You should have increased the size of the spawn zone.
Many people in a tiny cramped space. It's great.
Nice. I'm already cached.
There we go.
That helps. So
Yeah.
we'll wait for. There's Mars and Voxel Mars.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
Cute little
It's beautiful.
Lecture Spy
we
and
go.
Lecture Spy. Love them.
Can
Can you stand next to I see both of y'all? This is great. Oh, that's so great. You all are wonderful.
Yes.
You started walking.
Which one is which? I can tell.
So once everyone's loaded in, let me know. This can be a little bit heavier for a large when there's a lot of people in. But look at the reflectivity of the floor. The collection probes and materials in here are lovely. So how's everyone doing as far as loading in? How are you all?
Shouldn't be too much to load in, I think.
Good, good. Okay. Do you mind explaining a little bit about
Should
your
be.
tool and some thoughts behind it and things like that?
Of course, of course.
Of
I
course.
knew it.
Yes. Go for it.
So, as I already mentioned at the start of the stream, the main reason why this tool even exists in the first place is the Black Mesa map, especially the second part.
Mhm.
And after I did started snipping down the map into the individual culling parts and did go into the lore behind the game again and all the interaction, I was like, oh, we have a lot of NPCs in the original game. How the hell are we gonna do this? So we did a little bit of research on that, and slowly but surely came up with the idea that we could extend on the original waypoint system we made for the train itself, but it was way too limited. It had some issues, and we couldn't just reuse it or upgrade it. So Moss offered
Yeah.
to completely redo this system from scratch, and that's what we essentially used here. And thanks to Coffee, we also got a pretty solid solution for the A-star algorithm, which was one of the things we pushed back quite a lot of times because it's one of the most complicated parts of the system.
Actually
the
getting the
pathfinding
pathfinding
itself.
to correct. Yeah.
Exactly. It's
Horrible.
it's not an easy thing to do, especially with some of the current limitations we have in here.
And
But
what was
it is
the,
We got it
doable.
to work, so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
functions. I'm happy.
do you mind kind of going through a demonstration, kind of how it works, and you'll kind of like
I mean, yeah, sure. Well, you come into
like
the
this
world.
rock paper scissors.
You
Yeah.
can grab an instance of the waypoint tool. I now
Okay.
have two on my tool shelf. Hold on.
Feel free everyone to grab one.
And then you go to the next part of the world, pretty much. And here we have the credits board, with everyone who helped, who did anything regarding our project, all the tools we used, all the assets, and a special thanks within the MMC for hosting this great event. And afterwards we have the quick start with a written tutorial on how to use the tool. Unfortunately, I didn't really have I didn't really have time or the effort energy to create a video. I did want to, and I will probably at some point, but I haven't yet created a tutorial video. And so the tool itself has actually almost everything to create your own traffic system completely. So everything is done through the context menu. In here you can select your traffic system, which there are already 3 from the showcase world in the showcase map in the next room. You then create a new one. That's the root of your traffic system pretty much. It's just a placeholder box with which you can move everything at once.
Okay.
Then, as you can see, the waypoints menu lighted up. You can now go separate menu where you can edit the way you spawn your waypoints, either at your tool or wherever you click in the world, and the type of connections you create. So either that the agent can go both ways or only travel along one direction. So then you just then you just click somewhere on the ground and it will spawn a waypoint.
Nice.
It will number them incrementally. The number does not really matter. It's just to show that they are different. And then you select one by clicking on it. It will turn green.
With primary?
Yeah, with primary.
Okay.
And then by clicking secondary on a different waypoint, you will create a connection between them.
Nice.
And then if you want to, so the connection, a bidirectional connection is like automatically spaced apart by a certain distance. That can be changed in a different menu where it has like this little visualization where you can change separation distance. So if we put them really close together, that will not go well, but good. Then it does that. Yeah. And just create a one directional.
And are you able to change them later to the closeness?
Well, the just changing the separation is a planned feature, but for now you can either just all the points are grabbable. If you want to redo the connection, you can either just like delete both and then re-add the connection. That will work, or manually position them somewhere else in the world.
Nice.
Then when you have set up your traffic system, we have prepared for like template agents which you can use. So you grab one, it's an agent orb, we call it, and you can either put it on your tool or hit secondary, which will also snap it to your tool. This way
nice.
It is usable for desktop mode as well. So they can equip a orb easily. Once you have that...
Prime on a bike.
Yes, of course.
You got one of the special skins.
The visuals of the people inside are randomized, and we put the Neos team on it as well.
Let's see the probable prime one too. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Ha! It's so cute.
We had fun with voxels. It's great. Once you have your agent orb, you can go to the agents menu, where you can spawn a new agent or one at a random waypoint. So it's either at the waypoint you selected, rather big model, but okay, or just somewhere in the world. And then the agents will just start randomly going along the path and go to different waypoints. So they choose a destination, and then once they reach that destination, they choose a random different waypoint to go towards, which they will use A star to find.
What's A star exactly? Can you elaborate on what that is?
A star is a very efficient pathfinding algorithm. So with it, you define your like grid, all the different connections between points, and then it will go through that list through your map pretty much and find the best route towards the destination you're searching for. And it does that very efficiently and quickly, which is why we're able to actually get that up and running in Neos relatively with pretty decent performance.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
then at the back we have a couple of videos of like our work in progress stuff, how things didn't go always as planned and sometimes just chaos.
like what?
Let's see. I think the two in the middle. The agents have a little thing called collision avoidance, where they like raycast forwards, and then if they are hitting something, they try to go around it. But in our template city, there was this little entrance to a building, and they just kept on colliding and then circling. They never escaped. That was a permanent trap for them.
Yeah, it's a voxel trap. Oh no.
Yeah. And at other
Oh, this one.
times, oh, that's just the performance one. That is a performance test with very basic agents, but a lot of them. There wasn't
Yeah.
any fancy stuff going on yet. It was
No.
just the agents going to a random place.
Yeah, the very first stress test, I think we hit the performance ceiling at around 250 agents or so.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's nuts. 250. Wow.
Yeah. But
Where-
once
yeah,
we
wha-
then started raycasting for the collision avoidance, that
Yeah.
maximum did go down.
Mhm.
Because this
What would you
was...
s-
Yeah?
No. Please go ahead. Go on.
Because here we started hitting the limit for just the amount of transform updates we could do at the same time, pretty much, before
Mhm.
just lag started happening. Whereas with the raycast, I think the limit is actually the raycast itself. Like all of them firing off every frame.
And what would you say the limit is there then?
Physics engine?
Um,
Oh no, you said with the
Raycast,
raycast,
or-
like if it's
Oh yeah.
raycast, is there what would be you say the reduced limit?
Oh, the limit is, well, to keep performance relatively good than the Voxel City, we put the limit at 80.
Nice.
So it did go down quite a lot, but 80 is still a pretty decent amount. That's,
So shall
Yeah.
we go inside and check that out?
yeah, definitely.
Ooh, love to
Let's
hear
go.
your thoughts on.
So this was, we found this nice asset pack online with voxel buildings and the little people. That's where we got most of the models from. And then Electro built all the ground tiles and roads and street lamps and everything else. So we could actually build a city out of it.
Oh wow!
And that's
So just the buildings
That
really
was
are pretty
amazing.
much
the
buildings.
buildings
alone.
are from the asset pack, but the rest is built from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah,
using-
the other funny thing about this demo city is, as I started working in this city, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are know about feature creep. Let's just say I may have already come up with other ideas for this thing. Luckily, I didn't push it into the project. But this might gonna turn later on into a completely separate project, kind of like a miniature city builder, kind of like SimCity. We're gonna be able to
Oh my god.
we're gonna be able to drag all the paths and cities onto a grid and build your own city. The most complicated part there is gonna be the automatic connecting of the waypoints,
Mhm.
so the user doesn't need to do that anymore. But yeah, this is like far into
Yeah.
the future. We still need to think about how to even build a whole system around that.
Mhm.
You can just, based on tiles, place down all the roads and they connect dynamically. And
Yeah.
It sounds like you're excited and also terrified at the same time.
I am, yes, definitely.
Yeah, and for
It's
these of
gonna be a
use,
big thing.
yep, and for these of use, I came up with the idea that it might be nice to have a menu with just some quick select buttons down there. So
Mhm.
people don't need to worry about using the tool all the time, just to mess around with the city.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Mhm.
have you played around with the minus button, Medra?
Played with the minus button?
The minus
Yeah,
button for
instead of the X.
removing
No.
agents individually.
Mm-mm. I haven't.
Or you should. So somewhere around
show.
you, the position is local. There's this menu with which you can see like all the agents and
Oh
add
yeah,
and
I've
remove
tried
them.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used this as well.
Try removing some agents with the minus button. It's
Oh,
another
no.
thing called. Yes,
Oh no.
it's another thing of feature creep. Someone really wanted this feature.
Wait, no, I didn't do this. What? What? That seems like a Electro Spy thing.
You started it.
Oh
This
yes,
is
you
amazing.
definitely want it.
So this is like it doesn't matter if I don't sleep for 3 days. I'm making this is
I'm
happening.
Yes, indeed.
I did not see
No.
this. I must have missed this. Wow. How
Uh,
did I
That
miss
is
such an
cool.
amazing thing?
we wanted them, so
That's just, oh.
they get abducted, and then we
This
had
is
to
amazing.
find
Mayhem.
we had to find some way for the
Oh, no.
UFOs to go away, so we just made them explode.
Alien invasion.
Yes. Uh,
It looks like they were trying to kill rabbits. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's actually another feature we didn't put in the end. We were considering tracking if a player is inside a city, and if
Mhm.
someone else would just press the minus button on the player thing, it would grab the random player on the map and do the same as with the NPCs.
Ah.
Just grab them and toss them away.
actually
That's
abduct the
awesome.
person. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great idea.
but yeah, at that point, feature creep, we're like, we're putting so much effort in just presenting the whole thing and what you could potentially do with that. We should focus on fixing the bugs on the tool.
Let's focus
Whether-
on functionality first, and then fun little Easter eggs and things with the system.
How did the
Yeah.
bug finding and functionality go as far as during the building of it all? Is there many hurdles or anything that was
No.
notable?
There were actually not that many things. It's mainly in the beginning you sometimes forget to connect the logic node here. You forget to type a name out correctly. Just some small things like that, and you start it up, and you're like, "Why does this not work?" And you just, "Oh yes." And
Oh yeah,
I know all
or
the
the
feels.
raycasts. Yeah, the raycasts being inside the agents and they're suddenly spiraling out of existence, just floating away.
Mhm.
Oh no.
When the agent was angled downwards, and just the raycast continuously hit the ground, so it would just circle on its place. It's stuff like that, and also because when you make the tool, you know exactly how you want people to use it, and that you know yourself exactly how you use it, but actually having someone to place test the system, which was I think Shorty we had for the
Mhm.
for his hide and seek world, he actually used the system there as well.
Oh
It
neat.
was
That's
it
cool.
was handy to have someone like unrelated to the project who does not know how the system works to see if they can figure out how the interaction goes and how to set things up, and knowing how you have to like change the naming of your buttons and everything, so it's more intuitive to use.
Do you think that without Shorty that it would have been much more non-intuitive and
there
more
were,
difficult to?
Yeah, a couple like minor things that we figured out when he was using it, and some other feature creep things was like, yes, this would be nice, and this would be nice, and yeah.
Which reminds me, the conversion we are working on, is it ready for publishing or?
I mean, it's relatively stable, I think. So let me just select the system.
Yeah, we got slightly annoyed. So shortly after the deadline was done, we were like, let's actually take a look at how long it would take to add one or two more features to that. And we finished this in like half an hour and got really salty about that.
After, like an hour
What?
after the entry, we had a working list of agents themselves where you could like highlight one and then
really?
delete it.
Oh my goodness.
But it was like already the deadline, and
Well, that says something about your old skills that, you're like, well, let's see if we can do this. You're like, oh, I guess we can do it pretty quickly. Wow.
because we could have done it. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was one of these things where like, let's play safe. I'm pretty sure everyone else is trying
That's
to
smart.
push their things onto the cloud, and we not want to run into the issue of, I don't know, corrupted saves, things
Super
breaking
smart.
and stuff like that.
Well, I think we submitted the world like 4 days prior to the actual deadline as well.
Yeah.
And then like did the final few updates and tweaks while it was already published.
That is the super smart thing.
So we knew for sure that it was there, but it's just no.
That's. I wish I could recommend everyone do that on MFC next year. There's so many people waited last minute and then things broke in a way that they were like freaking out because they can't do anything about it since the deadline's already up. You all did the right thing.
Oh, you don't even know.
there-
After the deadline was
there were
done,
things.
yeah, the first time we got back into the world or other people, they found so many small broken things, and I
Oh,
was just
no.
sitting here and
Yeah.
screaming. It's not breaking the world. It is not really annoying. It's just not fun looking at it and like, oh god, it was so obvious.
A typing
Oh,
mistake
no.
here, a spelling error here, and for example, the grab instancer for the tool that's not set up properly. The
Oh,
tool
no.
itself is still grabbable, so you can just grab it off of the instancer and it's gone.
Oh no.
It's just dumb stuff like that. Yeah, but it will
So
get fixed.
Would you have
Of
any
course.
recommendations for people that are going to build such a like complex system, anything as complex as this? Any recommendations for people in the future if they're going to decide to do something like this?
I guess I can highly recommend GDC talks. Definitely.
Mhm.
It's really important to do your research on things like that. There's so much stuff you need to learn to think about things like that, and the more you know, the more you can cross-reference pre-existing other things and try to come up with a solution, especially working around some of the limitations we still have to live with. Yeah, just be creative and do a lot of research. And as other people are saying in here, it's not like you can't do systems like that. It's just about needing to think about how to do them, which takes the most time out of it.
That makes
And
sense.
with like very complex structures, get the real like data structure of how you want to store all the data, how you this is more technical, but still how you want to store everything and get the data to be efficiently stored and used as well first. Like know how to set that up before you actually start building stuff on top of it and programming.
That makes sense.
Just train on
Yeah,
the
the
board.
strong foundation.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
it's really have the base down, and as well with like first get the most basic simple working prototype before you start adding fancy features and other stuff on top.
While you're looking in my direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
a pretty
also-
good principle. Trying to get the most basic version as functional as possible is a very first important step. Well, because even if the base system itself already doesn't work, it doesn't make sense to add more fancy features on top of that, like the collisions avoidance, some fancy pathfinding, the locomotion for the different things. There's way too much things you can still do to this system.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with a deadline, you definitely need to cut some
Yeah.
corners here and there and try to finish as much as possible. And
That
Get
makes
it
a
up
lot
and
of sense.
running before you do
Yep.
nice stuff. Yeah.
Well, Mars and
group-
Electrospy, you all did just an impressive job. I mean, we saw Echo last year with a little bit of NPCs, and this just went way far above and beyond something like that. And it's even really meditative just to kind of like watch everything kind of
Just watch the
Just
city
flow by.
live and yeah.
yeah,
have a little techno and Fruits and guys just hanging around the neighborhood. But
yeah.
yeah,
I think this was actually one of the other important parts about this system. Of course, we could have just stopped at the waypoints and the traffic system itself, but I found it to be really important to at least give as much of example templates as possible, so people have an easier time just to mess around. And with a system like this, you'll essentially just need to change the visuals, and at least you have a good starting point from the things.
well, there goes everyone. There goes the neighborhood.
Well,
Mars attacks.
Yeah. But yeah, we already had a lot of people asking for features for this and suggesting we should build SimCity in here. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Good
It's a
luck
little bit
on
more
that.
I'm not so
complicated.
sure about that.
Good luck on that. Well, if you do,
No.
you know everyone will be excited about it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you all, and we'll stop back and to the main hub world. You're welcome to World Hop with us if you feel like it. You don't have to feel obligated to. And
It's
thanks
getting a
for
little bit
explaining
late
everything. It
over
was
here,
nice.
so
Of course, I figured. Yeah. Well, you all take care. Thank you, and congratulations on such a nice entry.
thank you.
Thank you.
Grand server, cool.
Thanks, Rix.
Cool. That's what game development is all about.
It was fun to make as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Rix,
It's awesome.
short little
Congratulations.
question, since you're still here. Why the heck are the raycasts are so expensive?
I'm not sure. We have to profile that. I think my hunch would be that it's not the raycasts themselves, but like stuff around them.
Yeah, because I was really surprised. I did take a look at the Beepo V2 video, and especially the part where he does the raycasting with like, I don't know, what was it, 8 millions per second
Yeah.
or so. And I was really confused about why adding one raycast to each of these was so heavy on the performance.
As I just said, maybe just like the overhead, because like the one where he does a lot of them, it kind of uses like a batch system where like it generates like
Yeah.
huge list of like raycast jobs and it kind of submits and it also like runs in like parallel. Whereas this one like it's pretty much like it does all the logic stuff, does a single raycast, and then like processes the logic stuff and does the rest. So like it's probably like the
so-
overhead kind of like messing up, but we have to kind of like profile it.
Mm.
I think at some point
Okay.
I'm like even gonna like jump like and do like a bunch of like profiling like these MMC worlds because they're good like a test bed for to see like what's going on with some things.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
But yeah, this was literally, I think,
Makes
the
sense.
only really confusing part here.
Yeah.
Why this suddenly got so heavy after a certain threshold.
Hmm.
Actually, with the raycast not being then batched, that makes sense. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm also gonna jump to the other world. I'm kinda recording as well.
Have fun.
Mm.
Yeah.